Hello and welcome to my craft room. Today I'm going to make a card based on this week's sketch at Oriental Stamp Art, and I thought I would also try to learn how to make a video at the same time, so wish me luck. I'm going to use a border punch I just got from Stampin' Up. It was one of the free Celebration ones, and I don't have many border punches and I really like this one. It's got a nice little guide on it so you can get it lined up really well. And I'm just going to punch the front edge of my card. I do that a lot. I really like the look. I think it gives it just a little extra flair. It's kind of pretty. This is just a card base I've had forever. It's by K & Company. It was part of a stack, I think. And I'm going to use a little brown ink pad. It's called Barn Brown. It's by the company Sugarloaf. And you can find that at AC Moore and some of the other big craft stores, and I like it because you get a set of 30 ink pads, and I think it's about $40. I got mine for about $20 because I got it when it was on sale. It goes on sale quite a bit. Alright, I am going to put a layer of this beautiful oriental paper. I have a little bit left from a card I made earlier, and it is, I think it was from Stonehouse Stamps actually. I won it as part of a tip prize at Oriental Stamp Art, so I thought I ought to use it in one of their challenges. I'm just going to adhere that onto my front flap. This card is kind of a funny card. It folds over. You put your message up here, but you can still see some of the inside of the card, so I wanted to make sure I used a card base that had color on both sides. Now I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday because I always seem to need a Happy Birthday card. And I like to use scraps of pattern paper that don't have a lot of pattern to them because it just gives you a little extra texture in the background. I think it's quite pretty. There you go, Happy Birthday. That stamp is from About Art Accents. Really beautiful Asian themed rubber stamps from that company. Okay, I'm blessed to be part of their design team, so I get a lot of them. It's always fun when a package from About Art Accents comes in the mail. I'm just going to trim it with my little paper cutter here. And I'm going to mat it on some copper cardstock. It's, I believe it's by Prism, but I'm not 100% sure. It's just a nice thick copper cardstock. Just using regular double stick tape I buy at Sam's Club. It is Scotch 3M Photo Safe double stick tape. It's very strong, very cheap, just right for the work that I do. And I've had this little trimmer for years and years. It's a Creative Memories trimmer. Hasn't gone dull yet. I can't believe it. I use it all the time. Alright, I am going to use a little foam adhesive, and I'm going to pop this right on the top of my card. Very simple. This is a very simple card. Oop, that looks a little crooked to me. I'm just going to trim that a little bit more. Okay. This may be the most boring video anyone has ever watched. But, oh well, it's my first time. Put a little foam adhesive on. And stick that right down here on the card. Okay, I think I want to put a couple little photo corners here, and I have a really pretty stamp for that. It's also by About Art Accents. I'm going to use that same brown ink. I'm keeping with the same colors all the way through. You have to press pretty hard when you're using an unmounted stamp if it doesn't have a cushion on it. And I don't bother putting cushions on mine. I just take the rubber dies and I paint a little aliens, tack it over and over again. There's a bottle. I just paint that on the back, let it dry, and then it will stick to my stamp mounts. And I store it in binders when I'm not using it. That's what all of these 14 binders in front of me are. All different unmounted stamps that I have. Works good for clear stamps too. I'm just trimming these little corners that I stamped. I'd be very interested to see how long it takes me to make a card, because I'm never really entirely sure. jump around from project to project so much that I'm not sure how long it takes me to make a card. Alright, I'm going to put a little bit of just plain old double-sided tape on the back of those. And on the card they will go. This is a really simple card. It's kind of fun to work with a sketch once in a while because it kind of takes the brain work out. You can just have fun. It's a great way to start a crafting afternoon. Something easy like that. Alright, now I've got this really pretty stamp here. I'm going to stamp it on my pattern paper with a really subtle background. And I'm going to punch it out, so I'm only going to see really just little bits of the stamp. It's kind of like a butterfly medallion. I'm going to stand up so I can give enough pressure to this unmounted stamp that it will give me a good impression. Perfect. I'm going to stamp it 3 times because I want to make sure I have 3 decent sized pieces to work with. This is a great way to use up your scraps of paper too. Still with the same color brown. It's called Barn Brown, if you have that set. It's basically just a warm brown, kind of a rusty brown. Not too dark. That's perfect. And I'm going to use a circle punch to punch my circles, of course. I'd like to do that with a square punch, wouldn't it? I'm just going to peek on the bottom there, and I can see exactly where my paper's going to punch. I like that little flower in the corner. Let's see if I can get that. There we go, in the punch. Alright, these are going to go on the inside of my card, per the sketch. I punched these out of that thick copper cardstock earlier. It was pretty loud, so I decided I would punch that beforehand, so you wouldn't have to listen to that. If anyone watches my video, that is. Who knows? Just lining it up as well as I can, just kind of eyeballing it. I like that tape because I can peel it up and I can stick it back down. It's not completely permanent for a few hours, so you have a little time to mess with it. And I think I might pop these little ones up. Hope I'm in the camera frame here. I remind you, this is my first video. My excuse in case it doesn't come out very well. And this is actually going to match the card I just made the other Oriental Stamp Art Challenge, the Neko Kitty Challenge. So those will be pretty together, I think. Try not so the butterflies right side up. Okay, now, well, there you have it. It's a very simple card. It's kind of pretty nonetheless. I think I might add just a little bit of ink around the edges here just to define it a little bit. You have room to write your sentiment in there.